Morning, everyone. I'm David Talbot, Managing Director and Head of Research at Red Cloud Securities. We're very pleased to have AIM-listed Bradda Head Lithium with us today. Charles FitzRoy, CEO, is going to speak. Now, Bradda Head is advancing their lithium clay, their lithium hard rock, and their lithium brine projects in the Southwest US, and he will discuss those for us. Charles, you have 10 minutes to talk, and then we'll have a 5-minute Q&A at the end of the session. Attendees, please feel free to ask questions using the Q&A link. Take it away.
Thanks, David. Yes, so my name is Charlie FitzRoy. I'm the CEO of Bradda Head. I'm here today to introduce our company to you. Bradda listed this year in July on the London market. We had a very successful IPO. We went out to raise £4 million. We got interest up to £9 million and scaled back to 6. So we went out to raise 4, we got 6. So we had more than we needed to do, which is great for us because we have more cash for our projects. Our projects are located, as David said, in the Southwest of the US, in Nevada and Arizona, which, as of the Fraser Institute's 2020 survey, were number 1 and 2 for investment attractiveness. So they're in very good postcodes for mining projects. We've got our brine projects, sedimentary projects, and pegmatite assets. Pegmatites and the sedimentary assets are located in Arizona, and the brines are up in Nevada. And we own these projects outright 100%. And we work underway at all these projects right now. I'm actually right now, as we speak, in Arizona. I'm in Wickenburg. After this presentation and a few more interviews later, I'm going to pop out to site to go and see how the drilling's going, because we're drilling as we speak down at Burrow Creek. We've done a lot since IPO. We've increased our land holding by 105% to 47 square kilometers, with 47 square kilometers of sedimentary claims. We've commenced drilling at our Burrow Creek East asset, where we already have an inferred resource. We've got some initial assay results back, which are very positive, and we think we're going to end up upgrading our grade and size from the resource there. We're also doing a geophysical program on all our clay assets and our pegmatite assets to understand more about the clay depths and what's there in the pegmatites below the surface. We're also shortly going to be starting drilling at Wiki Up, which is our other sedimentary asset, which I'll show you in a second on the map overview slide. We're just waiting for the last few permits there. And as well as we permitting Wiki Up, we are permitting underway at our other Burrow Creek assets. So Burrow Creek West, Burrow Creek North, and Burrow Creek East extension, which join to Burrow Creek East. We are also, as we speak, permitting to drill at Wilson, which is our brine project up in Nevada. And at Spencer, we've got a geophysical survey, an MT survey plan for early next year. So there's lots going on. And we've had a very good response since we listed in July. Shares are up sort of 40% as we speak, as today. So Bradda understands where we are, and we understand where we want to be. We want to get all our assets to the end state of being low production costs, low carbon footprint, producers of battery quality lithium end products. We know where we are now. We've identified that we need to increase our resources in our sedimentary assets. We need to develop the processing technology of our sedimentary assets, and we need to increase the knowledge of our pegmatites and brine assets. How are we doing this? Well, we are fast tracking our drilling at our sedimentary assets. We're drilling at Burrow Creek East. We seem to be starting a sonic program at our Wiki Up projects. We're prioritizing our assets through remote sensing and geophysics. We've added team members. So we've added an ESG professional who's helping us to engage with local stakeholders and the local tribes in the area. And we also added technical and processing consultants to help us understand more about our projects and how to develop them. As we speak, we have metallurgical testing underway with SGS Canada. We're helping us to do test work on our clays from Burrow Creek East asset, where we have our inferred resource already. And as I said before, we've got targeted geophysics to make sure we're not wasting unnecessarily cash from drilling. So we know exactly where to drill to get the good clay depths. We've got a very strong management board who really understand how to grow a small company. Ian Stalker is very experienced. He's built 12 mines himself. My background, I'm a geologist. I spent some time in the British Army before working across very many areas in finance, all metals and mining focused. And we have good guys on the ground, Jim Goodlinger and John Keller, who are geos. And then we have Jim Mellon, who's our board member, and you and Alex and Denham, who are very much advisory and finance functions. So we've got a very strong team, really understand how to grow small companies and return value to shareholders. As I said before, we've added some new members, Adam Hawkins, very experienced ESG professional, and Don Haynes and Yatendra on the technical and processing side, who both themselves consult for a lot of lithium juniors as well. So really good team behind us that help us to get to an end state where we're producing products with low operating costs, low carbon footprint, battery products. As I said, Don is helping us with our, sorry, not Don, Adam is helping us with our ESG policy, because we very much believe that we need to ingrain ourselves in the local community to be able to develop these assets for the benefit of the local community, to ensure the best way forward for reducing our assets. So why Bradda? Well, Bradda is located, as I said, in Arizona, our assets in Arizona and Nevada. The US currently has a small amount of lithium being produced, about 5,000 tons a year from its Albemarle Silver Peak operation. Benchmark Minerals has forecast that by 2025, the US is going to need over 200,000 tons. By 2030, about 300,000 tons. There's a huge supply shortfall coming, and the demand is going to be much greater from all the upcoming battery mega factories. Bradda is located with our clays in Nevada and Arizona, which is near to infrastructure, end users. So we are very well located to be able to develop our assets in a low operating cost environment. And low carbon footprint is very much part of Bradda's story as well. If you see the chart on the right-hand side of the screen there, it maps all the lithium mines around the world from a carbon intensity to capital intensity. It's produced by Roscoe. You can see in orange is the pegmatites, blue are the brines, and then green the clays. Bradda is positioning its assets in the bottom left of that chart, because we're located. As you see from the supply chain there, most lithium that is used in the world comes from two sources: South America and Australia, the majority. Obviously, there's other places, but that's where the majority comes from. If you're producing a lithium from Australia, it goes via China to be processed, then to Europe, to the US, picking up a carbon footprint. Bradda is producing lithium for the US domestic market, so it cuts out that step of carbon footprint. And also, we are developing our assets with a low carbon way as possible. I think for Bradda, we've got some good comparables. One is American Lithium, and the other is Liontown Resources Kathleen Valley. So American Lithium, very similar grade profile to our Burrow Creek East asset. Important to note is they've drilled about 40% of their 30 square kilometers. We've only drilled 2% of our 47 square kilometers, and their market cap is about 10 times ours. As you can see, they released their maiden resource last year, and they've done very well since then, up about 600%. So I think that's a good comparison from the sort of clay side of things for Bradda. Our assets, as you can see here, these are our clay assets. There is our clay assets are on one semicircular sort of basin fill environment. Our Burrow Creek East, North, West, and West Extension assets are near to Freeport's Baghdad copper mine, and then our other projects are surrounding the town of Wickiup. The key thing about these assets is they're all in a relatively small area, so they'll be processed out of one hub. And that's important because we've got an inferred resource, Burrow Creek East, where we have tested that it can be processed to battery grade carbonate, and then Hawkstone Mining have their big sandy resource next to Wickiup, where they've done testing as well. So there's two areas on that belt which have identified that they can be processed to battery grade lithium carbonate. So that's very important, de-risk them. We're going to be drilling later this year at Wickiup, which is surrounding Hawkstone's resource, which is a grade of 1850. That's why we're drilling at Wickiup. And we're also starting at Burrow Creek East. We're drilling there now as we speak. We've got a program in place which is upgrading an old resource, where we believe the upper clay zones, there's two clay zones, upper zone and the lower zone. The upper zone thickens the northwest and west. That's what we're doing in this program. And that's why we're permitting at these other assets, because we believe clay thickens that way. And that's what we're doing in geophysics, which will hopefully be able to release some results in the not too distant future. And then quickly, before I can see my time is coming up, a bit of a comparison here of Liontown Resources. Liontown, as you see, there's about 60 times our value. Our pegmatites, we believe, are very similar to Kathleen Valley, where we have a thin dikes at surface. We see these two examples on the screen now, and thicker feeder system at depth. We've got a 9-kilometer strike in our San Domingo district, and you can see these pegmatites at surface. So we're doing some geophysics now to try and work out what's below the surface. So lots going on with Bradda. And then we have our brine projects, which I'm going to run over really quickly, David, if you let me. Wilson, we've done some MT testing there, identified two basins, a shallow basin about 400 meters, and then a deeper basin about 1,000 meters. We'll be doing some drilling in the near future when we get our permits through for there. And then Spencer, we'll be doing an MT survey to identify a basin there. And we've got some really good surface grades at Spencer, up to 550 ppm. So we're going to plan a shallow drilling survey there as well. So as you can see from this timeline, lots going on at Bradda, lots of news flow, lots of reasons to invest in the stock. And also we've only come to market very recently. We've only drilled a very small proportion of our sedimentary claims. There's lots to prove up, huge geological upside, and we're based in the two of the best locations in the world for investment attractiveness of mining projects. So all in all, very good story to be involved with, and management are very incentivized along with shareholders. About 24% of their company is owned by a management and board, and then the rest are held by very supportive shareholders. So it's a very exciting time to be part of the Bradda story. And any questions?
Okay, thank you for that, Charles. Yeah, we do have some questions here. Now, you've got clay deposits, pegmatites, and brines, and each of them are somewhat unique in terms of exploration, production, flow sheets. Do you have a preference at this point, something that you think might be a little bit easier to get to production than the others?
Well, we are listening to OEMs and our technical consultants to work out the best route forward. There's obviously a divergence in which type of lithium product is preferred battery chemistry. We understand that lithium carbonate is potentially more of a shelf-stable product than lithium hydroxide, but some batteries need, it depends on the OEMs. We're speaking to them because we're lucky, we're in that situation, we're very early on. So we can develop our process and technology working alongside these guys, so to make sure the specifications of our product is what they want.
Mm-hmm. And what sort of purity of lithium carbonate are you expecting at this point?
It's too hard to say that, but I know Hawkstone Mining, their Big Sandy, have got a 99.8% purity of their lithium carbonate from their testing. So we would assume something similar, but obviously we can't say because we haven't done any testing to that level as of yet.
Okay. Do you know what sort of processes you might be using at this point? Have you looked at your own lithium separation technology for, say, the clays or the brines?
It's too early. We've got some initial network going on right now, so when we get those results, we can come back to you about that. But we are developing ways to make sure the gangue elements are inactive, because obviously there's an acid consuming there because it's clay. So we're making sure that is part of our process flow sheet.
Right. Okay. How about your ESG approach? Can you maybe discuss how you plan to minimize your carbon footprint?
Well, that is something we're developing now. Adam's come on board recently. I'm actually seeing him for lunch today, so that's something we're part of my trip as well as a key thing with Adam. But we are, when we're developing projects, our processing capabilities, any sort of power or usage like that, we'll make sure we're minimizing water usage, using solar or wind where we can. These things are which we're going to work into any sort of development of a plant or mine site.
Okay, great. You have several geophysical surveys underway at the moment. Can you maybe tell us what you're looking for? Do you have any early results?
Yeah, well, we haven't released them, but I've seen some initial results and they're very exciting. The beauty of geophysics for clays is it can quite easily identify the layers, and we're getting some very strong results, which we think are going to be very positive when we release them. But it's something which we haven't done the full survey yet, but I'm pretty excited about what we've seen so far.
Okay, and I guess just a wrap-up question now. Given that lithium is a critical element in the U.S. and there's one producer down there, have you received or do you seek any government support for your activities?
We are looking. I know there are government grants for novel technologies, and something we're looking into, because if we can get help with developing our process technology, that is something we'll definitely do.
Perfect. Okay, let's wrap it up there. So thank you, Charles, and thank you everybody for joining us today.